everybody, my name is Scott Waters and welcome to the Live to Metal. Going to be showing off some cassette tapes, 8-tracks, and one piece of memorabilia today. Not sure what to call this video. We'll just call it a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I'll start off with one thing that I thought was really cool. I showed a few weeks ago an Overkill scarf from their European tour in the 80s. Here's a 1980 Genesis tour scarf from Europe, which I've never seen one of these in my life, so really cool to have. I have to figure out what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to display it somewhere, somehow in my office, but regardless, I thought this was a really cool item. Definitely not something you see in the United States very often, these tour scarves. So back in the 80s, we had, we called them tour scarves too, but they were different. They were skinnier, silk, with silk screen on, and with, you know, they were silk screened on. They were like almost these bandana looking things, and I've got a few of those as well, but not exactly the same. This is an actual, you know, knit scarf. So really, really cool item added to my collection. But all right, let's get into these. I've got 3 8-track tapes. I'll get into those first. Picked these up from the same guy I picked up the Genesis from, but this is Black Oak, Arkansas. Keep the Faith, still sealed in the original cellophane, 8-track tape. Now, I don't necessarily collect 8-track tapes. I do have a pile of them. I'm not out constantly looking for them, but when I run across them and they're cool titles, I grab them. Again, anything, you know, heavy metal, rock and roll is pretty much welcome in my collection, so I'm always looking for stuff, regardless of what it is. But at the moment, I don't have an 8-track player. I had one, but I'd like to get another one that's working, and hopefully that'll happen in the future. But regardless, until that time, I do have a good pile of 8-tracks, and this is another sealed 8-track in the collection. So Black Oak, Arkansas, and Keep the Faith. And then this one was cool. I sent this one off to my buddy who fixes and restores 8-track tapes, but this is a Columbia House pressing of Joe Perry Project, Let the Music Do the Talking, from 1980. His second album is also available on 8-track tape. I wish I could find a copy. I'm constantly looking for it. Probably my grail 8-track tape right now, and it's not super rare, but one that I'm looking for is AEROSMITH Rockin' a Hard Place. That's what I'm looking for. But this was one I was looking for as well. And like I said, I sent it off. It's all cleaned, perfect, plays perfectly. He played it himself a couple times and said he enjoyed it. He had never heard the album before. Jeffrey Rusnick, if you don't know the name, he's a VC member, and he did a video fixing one of my Kiss 8-track tapes not long ago. But he also did this one, and really glad to have it. So in the original Columbia House Record and Tape Club sleeve. And finally, this is a really, really clean mint copy of Black Sabbath Volume 4 on 8-track that I picked up from my buddy Rob, the same guy I picked up the Genesis scarf and the what do you call it, Black Oak, Arkansas from. So there you go. That's my 8-tracks. That's all I have for now. But I did pick up a lot of cassettes recently. I don't know why. I don't necessarily purposely go out and look for cassettes a whole lot. There are some cassette titles that I've been looking for years, and one of those I finally came into and is in this pile. So let me get into these right away. But this is AEROSMITH. I actually have a copy of this one, but whenever I see one of these, I grab it because they don't show up very often. But this is the original pressing. As you can see, there's no wings on the cover because the wings were pressed right onto the plastic. I have a sealed copy of this, so it's cool to have one that's open and I can show. So there you go. On Geffen Records, AEROSMITH Permanent Vacation. I do have one of the copies with the wings printed on the actual paper itself as well. So now I've got like 3 cassette copies of this. One that's open, one that's sealed, and one that's got the printed wings. All right, next up, this is some Texas thrash metal from the early 90s. This is Criminal Sanity and Demoralize. Kind of a rarity, kind of an underground band. But if you're into, you know, speed thrash metal, that Texas speed thrash metal sound, you know, this is well worth checking into. I was highly impressed with it. Really enjoyed it. I find the back, it's got that very 90s looking back. Everybody was using that weird background for back in the 90s for whatever reason. I don't know if there was no picture of the band in this one. But it's got that scary devil skull in there. So yeah, Criminal Sanity, Demoralize, check them out if you're into underground speed thrash metal. Deliverance. This is brand new. Just came out. This is the new Camelot Redux. This is the cassette version. Only 100 of these pressed. I don't know if there's any left, so you can go to boonsoverstock.com and see if there's any left. Red cassette, black ink, and there's the insert that's inside of it. I mean, cassettes seem to be popular right now, so some of the new titles are coming out on cassette. And matter of fact, I just finished some work for a bunch of FLOTSAM and JETSAM albums coming out on cassette. So five of the Metal Blade titles are coming out on cassette. Hopefully more will be coming out on cassette for FLOTSAM and JETSAM as well. But in any case, Deliverance, Camelot, Redux, boonsoverstock.com if you're interested in getting one of these, if there's any left. Like I said, there was only 100 pressed, and I'm pretty sure most of them are gone, if not all of them, but double check. Dark Angel Collection. This is the Decade of Chaos. This is a post-release in the band. Of course, Dark Angel are back together again. They're actually recording a new album. Hopefully we'll see it come out in 2022, 2023 at the least. Decade of Chaos, thrash metal. Every single one of these songs, I believe, has Ron Reinhardt singing on them, and even the old songs, I believe, like We Have Arrived, I think it's a live version on this version. This was also released on CD and vinyl, all of which are pretty rare. All right, Volcana. This is a EP. Well, they call it an EP. It's actually a full-length album. I mean, it's got full, song. But this is a new wave of traditional heavy metal band. Volcana features Vic from Vindicator. Vindicator being thrash. This being just straightforward, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, inspired heavy metal. This is the Chasm Tracks Volume 1. It is on a blue cassette. White ink on the blue cassette. Oops. I dropped something that came out of there. What happened to it there? There it is. When I purchased this, I bought it directly from the band's site, and I got a little note from Vic in there, so I keep the note inside the cassette. And there you have it, Volcano. I believe this is their second album. They also had another EP on cassette there that I have yet to pick up. And then they have another full-length on CD that I do have. So, Volcana. All right, what else we got going on here? All right, this is some more Texas thrash. GAMMACIDE. Of course, I showed a lot of GAMMACIDE recently. Huge fan of this Texas thrash band. Only one full-length album out. This is it, Victims of Science. They released a lot of demos, and those demos have all been released on various things as well. But this is an original cassette copy on Wild Rags Records from back in 1989. A rather expensive cassette in most cases, so it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't uber expensive either. I've seen this thing sell for upwards of $100, which is, frankly, I think no cassette is worth $100, but whatever. I've seen them sell for more than that. So, GAMMACIDE, Victims of Science. If you're interested in buying that on CD or vinyl, it was just recently reissued on nolifetilmetal Records, so you can go nolifetilmetalrecords.com or roxrecords.com and pick that up there. Some Canadian thrash. This is Rammer. This is a newer band. This is their demo. This is a numbered copy, number 974. But you can see that it's got 8 tracks, including 3 live tracks. But it's the Incinerator demo, and you can see here's the cassette, handwritten cassette demo tape. Black and white cover, old school. Rammer, I have all their stuff on vinyl, anything they released on CD, and I was only missing a couple of their early demos on cassette. This is one that I've been searching for a while. This was the one that I was talking about that I've been looking for. I've actually bought it a couple times even. This is the 3rd time I've actually paid for this cassette and didn't get it. I bought it from one guy, and a week goes by and he's like, dude, I can't find it. I'm sorry, I have to refund your money. Happens. Bought it a second time. This time I'm like, well, let's see what else this seller has, because it was coming from Europe. So I bought the cassette. Oh, he's got a bunch of singles that I want. So I bought like 3 or 4 singles. Get a message from him, dude, I don't have the cassette. I have the singles. I'll sell you those. Well, the only reason I really bought the singles was because I wanted the cassette. I didn't get it. Regardless, finally found it from a third seller and actually received a copy, so that's kind of nice. All right, what else we got going on here? This one's still sealed. I haven't even popped the plastic on it yet. This is Except El Poder de Heavy Breaker. This is a Spanish pressing of Except's Breaker. Just thought it was interesting, kind of cool collectible that it's just, a Spain copy. It's got Spanish on the front of it. It's a little different from the original cassette cover you see, so I thought it was kind of cool. And obviously I picked it up for that reason. Again, I wasn't really out searching for that one. I was looking at a bunch of 7 inches that I bought from a Spain seller, and I was like, all right, I need to fill this cart out because shipping was the same for like 6 items as it was for 1. So I picked up a few singles, found that cassette in the pile, and I grabbed it. Okay, this one's really cool. This is not one you see very often, but this is Nevermore, The Politics of Ecstasy on cassette. This is on from Hungary on Metal Mind Records. And there you go. Nevermore on cassette. Recently, the 3 Nevermore albums came out on gold disc, and the rest of the catalog I hear is also coming out on gold disc, which is awesome. But I also hear that a couple of the albums are coming out on cassette tape as well. So if you're a cassette collector, they're going to be super rare. There's only going to be like 200 each pressed of the Nevermore. So, all right, next up, this is Texas heavy metal band HELSTAR. Remnants of War, their second album. I've got this on CD, I've got this on vinyl, got it on cassette. Got all excited because I thought I was going to be working on some HELSTAR cassettes for a label that I work with, and then at the last minute the rug was pulled out from under us and we didn't end up getting to put those out. So, but I picked this up in that hullabaloo when I was getting into that, so I was looking for, some classic HELSTAR. So it wasn't real expensive. I played this one all the way through, plays great, in good condition, so it'll stay in my collection. I'm a huge fan of James Rivera and HELSTAR. Another band you guys hear me talk about a million times over. This is King's X, Faith, Hope, and Love. Got an original vinyl pressing, got an original CD pressing. This cassette is actually a promo pressing. You can see from the spine, it's different than the normal spine. It actually reads on the top of it. Lent for promotional use only, so I thought that was really cool. It is the full album. It does have all this stuff inside of it, pictures of the band and all that stuff. It's this huge roll fold cassette. So, Faith, Hope, and Love by King's X. I think it was what 1990 when this came out. Great album from them. Spectacular album from them. All right, I've got 3 more all from the same artists. Like I said, I just work on a bunch of FLOTSAM and JETSAM cassette releases, and because of that, I was kind of on the search for them. I wanted to make sure that the releases that we did on the label that I'm working for are as good, if not better, than the original releases. So I did pick up a few FLOTSAM cassettes. This is Doomsday for the Deceiver, Model Blade Records. To me, this is a classic album, classic speed metal thrash album. Every bit as classic as anything by the early Anthrax, Metallica, Slayer. Matter of fact, in my opinion, this is better than some of those. So, but I'm a huge Flots fan. So, Flots Till Death, great album. Doomsday for the Deceiver. Of course, Jason Newsted played on this album, wrote a lot of this album, went on to play in Metallica after this. So there you go. This is on a Cobalt cassette. And then their second album, No Place for Disgrace. This is on Elektra Records. This is an original pressing. The No Place for Disgrace 2014 is coming out on cassette. I believe it was only 200 copies pressed, so those are going to disappear. They're already on sale, actually, so boonsoverstock.com if you're interested in the Flotsam cassettes. There's 5 cassettes. There is a bundle price, and there's only 200 of each. Once they're gone, they're gone. They're not pressing anymore. So, and there won't be any more pressed for several years, I can tell you that right now, because the contract basically stated that no more could be pressed for several years. So there you go. No Place for Disgrace, Flotsam and Jetsam, second album. Their first and only for Elektra Records. And then this was an album that came out, several years later, MCA Records. I believe this was like their 4th album, but Quattro. And this is, I love this album. This is one that definitely could use a remastering and a reissue on CD, especially vinyl. But regardless, Flotsam and Jetsam Quattro, great album from Flots Till Death. there you go. That is my cassette 8-track update. Appreciate you all watching once again. Please leave a message below. I will try to respond back to everybody. Always appreciate it. That's it. God bless. Stay strong.